and he talked to you, and he would tell you something, and you'd say, what? What would Kyle say?
Never mind.
Never mind.
I got so tired of hearing that.
Everybody, if you didn't get it the first time, there's not a chance you're gonna hear it again. You know, you had to drag it out of
Yeah.
you.
If you didn't care enough to catch it the first time, then never mind. You're
Yeah.
not worthy of it.
Long time ago, we were sitting on the porch at the old house. We were sitting there eating lunch. Kyle sitting there and this, can't remember if it was a canned drink or a bottle. No, it tipped over. It's sitting there running. He looks at it, looks at me. I said, Kyle, it ain't gonna stop. We're gonna pick it up. Stuff. He didn't get in a hurry.
Yeah, well.
And the last thing is I can't remember. I think it was you that brought it over, and when y'all got these, you told me Kyle said he wanted you to have one of these, wanted me to have one of these hats, and so I'll treasure this hat
There you go.
forever. So I'm done. Never mind.
Well, feel free to contribute more.
He always had really mixed feelings about the four-wheelers. he loved, I mean, he enjoyed riding on them, like, who doesn't enjoy that, but several times he told me, like, why is machinery like this? Like, why, like, we're working on something, every now and then he would straighten up, like, why? I remember this past planting season, me and him were hooking up the gate to drag the fields, and it was the maddest I ever saw him get. He just straightened up, slapped the four-wheeler, and goes, "Why do we have machines? Why can't we just have horses, bro? Why can't?"
Can we just recognize that one of you two passed that along to all three of us? The maddest I've ever seen any of us get is that stupid machinery.
It irritates me to know.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Then college football games. But other than that,
No, not even that.
And me and him had that like bond over Leonard Skinner, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So
over what?
It's
we
scary.
always talk about Leonard Skinner. Always.
I did flip him off the back of the four-wheeler a couple of times, but every time when I turn around, he had his gun in his hand like this. He never dropped his gun. What was right there, right there at the back road. We hit that dip. Next thing I know, the four-wheeler felt lighter, and then I turned around. There's Kyle holding it.
Well,
So Grandpa
I'm
flipped
in
him
the-
off too. You flipped him off the four-wheeler too, didn't
I sure did. It was on the road going over to what's Martinsfield, Davidsfield
Yeah.
now. And I'm riding along, and all of a sudden, I picked up speed. Kyle rolling down the hill.
I think I almost flipped you off
Yeah,
once.
you almost did that.
When I was like
When
starting
was that? Like
driving.
when he was a boy or like
you?
last year?
A
Kyle.
teenager.
Oh, he was a teenager.
Well, when y'all had first got the Timberwolves.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
he was probably 13 at that
Yeah.
time.
Was he holding his rifle up?
He didn't have a rifle that day.
He might not have been a backseat rider, you know. That's a pretty high percentage there, you know.
well, you know, you didn't want to laugh, but I mean, 'cause you didn't want to get him mad. I thought, well, he was young, but he could still break you in half.
Yeah.
But, you didn't want to laugh, but the hardest thing was trying not to laugh with him holding that gun up.
Yeah, he did have a gun in his hand too.
Yes,
That's true.
Yeah.
And it didn't get broken. So,
It's like, you okay? You okay?
Holds the power.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
Never mind.
that was it.
you okay?
So when I was a teenager, my senior year, me and Paul Hicks came up here with our two four-wheelers and Paul's four-wheeler, and we were at the old place riding, and me and Paul, just cruising around, kept looking back. Kyle's there, I was somewhere riding down this road, and we looked back, and Kyle wasn't there, and I was like, "What in the world?" I turned around and look, and all I see is a four-wheeler upside down in the middle of the road, and I was like, of course, I'm panicking. I'm like, "Well, my little brother just died, and my mom and dad are gonna kill me like on the spring break trip." So we drive back over there, and it was a washout in the road, and the four-wheeler flipped on him, like hit the side and flipped on him, and Kyle's just laying under it with his foot, holding it up. And I said, "Kyle, you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, it's about time y'all came back." He's just laying there, just holding the four-wheeler up. It's me and Paul flipped it over. And, I guess he was like probably 14 at that point.
I can hear him saying, "Help!" And y'all say, "What?" Never mind.
Yeah.
Just forget it.
Funny thing is, he could have just, leg pressed it easy, one leg.
It's pretty much what he was doing. He was holding it up with one leg, but he couldn't because it was in that washout. He couldn't do anything with it. One of the funniest hunting stories of me and Kyle, when we were little, we'd all divide up and hunt with each other. So me and Kyle hunt together, and we would we were turkey hunting that time on the bluff. We were young. I don't even know how old we were. I mean, I'm sure I wasn't even driving yet. We were hunting on the bluff. Me and Kyle sitting there just calling. Nothing's happening. Then we see these turkeys walk down in the pasture. So then me and Kyle decided the best idea would be to climb down the bluff and cross the creek and army crawl, belly crawl into the pasture and kill those turkeys. Well, after about 30 minutes of trying to get down the bluff without killing ourselves, we decided that wasn't a good idea. So we decided to go back up the bluff, which we couldn't do.
That's an even worse idea.
That was a worse idea. So then I had to jump and grab trees, and I had to grab Kyle, and we were trying to help each other up. An hour and a half later, we finally get to the top of the bluff. I'm sure I'm exaggerating the time, but it felt like that.
About 45 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
why I was waiting on Dad.
There you go. Exactly right. There you go. So we finally get back to the top of the bluff, and we're both worn out, and I had my Rambo knife I'd been using to try to climb in. And so we're doing all this, and we were like, well, let's just call it one more time. So we're like worn out, so we start calling. Next thing we know, a gobbler gobbles like right beside us. And we both turned and looked at it like, and they just looked at us and ran away. I was like, we did all that work. We could have killed a gobbler, and we were not prepared because we were just tired. It was like too much.
See,
Yeah, you did tell
there's a
me.
Devo right there,
Yeah.
somewhere in
Yeah.
So,
Well, talk about the Nevermind and the turkey hunting. We were over on the bluff one time, and I thought I heard a turkey, but we were unsure. And I was like, let's just set up on it anyway. And I was like, hey, I'll sit underneath this magnolia tree. You sit up there and see if you can kill him. I think he thought the turkey was coming from back here, but my hearing was saying up here. And so we almost got in this little argument, but he was like, he was trying to tell me something, but he was whispering. I was like, what? And he tried to tell me again, what? Never mind. And so I was trying to tell him, like, pull his knees up and get ready to shoot, and he was like, the turkey's back there. And right when he said, never mind, that turkey was like, from the lamp to him, he was like, he went pale. Gave me the old, never
So
mind.
another funny story, we were hunting on bluff one time, deer hunting. And I was driving this time, I don't know how old Kyle was. And I think I was in the Bronco. So that morning, I always get these headaches, and so that morning I had taken ibuprofen on an empty stomach, not thinking about it. Got in the woods and I was in a bad way. And so I told Kyle, I was laying down at this point. I wasn't even hunting anymore, I was just laying on the ground, wallowing in pain. And I told Kyle, I said, look, I have an emergency roll of toilet paper in the Bronco. I need you to go get it and bring it to me. So it was terrible. It was awful. And so Kyle's like coming back and he's like, where are you? Where are you? I said, I'm over here, just throw it to me. Poor Kyle had to throw me that toilet paper. I was like, poor guy. But he did it. He didn't argue. He didn't.
That's a good brother.
Hey, good brother. He just brought me, threw me my toilet paper.
And so you didn't see any deer that
No. I was happy to be alive when that event was over.
Was it anywhere close to Marty's tree?
Yes, right under it.
Yeah, there you go.
strange how that happens.
Yeah. Kyle was a good brother. Went and got me that toilet paper. I remember you built that convertible that ended up being Kyle's stand
Yeah.
up there.
We called it the convertible. It didn't have a top on it, so we just.
Was that on Kyle?
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle wanted it.
Yeah, on Kyle's road.
We tried to get us to come over there and paint it, but we never did show up to paint it. So it was just brown, wasn't it? Charlie's like, "Come on, you boys gotta come over and paint it." We never did. So Charlie brought it up here brown. And we just,
I don't know if y'all remember. Kyle was there, but when we put up the stands, it's one of the maddest I've ever gotten one day. Y'all got muddy. Everybody,
Yeah.
y'all went
yeah.
back in the trailer and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
covered in
Filthy,
mud.
yeah.
So how did they clean themselves?
No,
the big
that-
water
no.
thing we had to drink.
No.
You don't know the whole truth.
Not
now.
them. There was no them.
What?
that was Brad. Y'all got mad at
I was
Brad.
gonna say,
No.
I did it.
All of y'all had your hands. All of y'all had your hands in there. The water we had to drink,
I don't doubt it.
and next thing you know, it's
That was
just
after
brown
Brad
water.
had already washed his.
I mean, Kyle was probably 10 at the time, maybe, because I was like 14, 13.
Y'all were
14.
so covered in mud we
We
couldn't
were
tell you
covered.
apart.
What kind of self-respecting, responsible adults let a bunch of 10 to 14-year-olds sit on the back of a trailer between here and the back of the property, covered in mud, and bring nothing to drink?
Go to
We had drink. Y'all used to wash your hands.
It looked like a tub.
It was
so-
110 degrees. There was no water.
And we just, the funny,
Me and Mark, Cal, and Brad were like dying.
we were like,
We were down because we were
Arnold
thirsty.
Schwarzenegger. We were like Arnold Schwarzenegger on Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the only thing you could see is our eye spots. You know? It's like,
I mean, Kyle was probably literally 10 years old. at
we
that
had no bug bites that day.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Just miserable.
I
This was a
remember
miserable day
halfway
of
up
my
that
life.
hill, we got so, like, we were just getting just pelted with mud,
Some
and
pictures.
we jumped off the
I'd
trailer,
like to see it.
and they were like, well, let's just put this ladder stand up right there. There's a tree.
He's trying to go the hill.
We reduced the trailer weight by like 100 pounds by getting the ladder off right there.
Oh my goodness, y'all made us do that. That was miserable.
And I wouldn't let y'all take a shower, so we rode home that way, right?
Probably. I don't even know if we had running water at the house at that point.
That's the truth. We weren't here.
Wait,
Because it was like
you'd
it
have to
was-
trim the bushes to get to the shower.
That was like
In
the
the
year
house.
after
Inside.
Pop died, so because we put all those stands up like the next year, right? Not
Yeah, you're right. Cause yeah.
because Roland and them planted that year. He made sure I knew that he planted for us. But then the next year's like we started planning,
Mm-hmm.
and you know we were.
One other time, me and Kyle were hunting together. I think it was Brad and Mark were hunting together, right? When Brad shot that first deer. And so me and Kyle were sitting on one side of the big field.
Vietnam.
Again, we were so little. I don't even know what responsible adults let kids that small walk around with guns by themselves. But anyway, so we were out there, and all of a sudden we hear pow. I looked at Kyle and I was like, "Ooh, one of them shot one." Pow! 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 I was like, "What is going on?"
You know who
What
was,
is happening?
you know who was with Brad?
I think Mark was. On that
Paul.
one, Mark was. No, that was a different
That was
time.
another.
You're thinking about
Paul,
a different time.
my Paul was with Brad that day.
Well,
No,
not
that
the
was
one I'm
another
talking
one.
about. That was a different
That
time.
he killed his. Oh, okay.
That was a different
Another one.
No,
But Kyle
was-
and I were sitting there looking at each other like, what is happening right now? Like, what is all these guns? We're like with our guns. Like, what is something coming at us? Is something
Moonshiners over
like somebody's coming for us? I was like, Kyle, just be ready. I don't know what's happening. Brad and Mark over there whacking and stacking them over.
And the last shot was my 30-30 because Brad ran out of shells.
Yeah.
Grabbed your gun.
We were responsible hunters.
we were laying on just inside the woods, and there were all these. It's like where Pop or one of the farmers had kind of graded the fields to make them level, and there was all these mounds of
Mr. Ralph
Dirt.
had those fields
Yeah.
cleaned off.
And so Brad and I, we were just like, we're so exhausted, so we just lay on our backs and we're just sleeping. And all of a sudden I heard something walking. I was like, here we go. And dude, look what and he turns around, and 10 feet away there's a deer walking on the road, and he was like, "There's a deer." I was like, "Shut up." He's like, "No, seriously, there's a deer right there." I'm like, "Seriously?" Right there. And I kept trying to, he's like, "Stop." And anyway, and so the first shot he took, was just a couple feet away, and the thing ran out into the field, and he wasn't dead because it was a shotgun, so it was flopping. So that's a so it's like bloody hole in the field, and he was still, it was a little button buck, and so anyway, he was still flopping, and Brad was like, "I don't know what to do." I was like, "Got 6 shells in my 30. Boom!
Well, me and Kyle were just trying to figure out what was coming over the top of that hill. We're like, we're on the other side of the big field. We're on the same field on opposite sides, and we were like, what's coming over the top of that hill right there? What are Mark and Brad doing over there? What is happening?
What did he do that day?
Like, I want to go watch, but I want to go see what's happening.
Well, I was scared
but
for my
don't
life.
want
I
to
was
get
like,
blown
kind of
off.
scared.
Me and Kyle were like ducking behind trees, like, oh, there's shells coming?
Yeah, put a tree between you.
Yeah, I was like, what in the world is
What did he
happening?
do that day? I was driving, but some buck ran out on him across the road here while we were doing a drive that
yeah.
day. Didn't you or Marty or somebody like holler, "Go! He's coming!" or something like that?
Well, I jumped that deer, but I don't know what happened on the other side.
Was it on Mr. Ralph's property?
Yeah,
Anyway,
I think it was Marty.
yeah, and the deer saw Marty, so kind of diverted towards Kyle, ran right at him, and I think it was like the first opportunity he'd ever had to like shoot his 20 gauge at a deer, and so I think he just kind of got a little jumbled up with it or whatever. Marty watched that deer just run, and Kyle's like, "Whoop, there you go."
Y'all remember the
Never
first
mind.
time deer
that's
Kyle
it.
killed?
Yeah, I ain't that serious.
I
Do I?
don't remember the story.
Your deer?
No, first deer Kyle killed.
I know you'll have a picture of you and Betty and Kyle, right, or something.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but it was in his field up there at the upper end of the big field, where his little field was.
Yeah, okay.
And it was like he said, they kept walking right at me. I had to shoot it.
That's what he said.
Do y'all remember that?
I don't think I was up here.
You remember that, Ricky?
No, I don't.
Yeah. He said it was walking right to him. It never ran or anything. It was like, here I am.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
My favorite, Grandpa drives us crazy because every night he's like, so where y'all going in the morning? Like every single day, So we're like, I don't know.
Always
My
got
favorite
the same answer.
is Kyle's always like, I don't know. Grandpa's like, Kyle, where are you going? I don't know. Every
He
time.
never told me.
He's like, wherever I want to.
Even when we were leaving the truck, where y'all going? Speed.
And nothing changed. I
Yeah.
asked deer, say, "Kyle, where you going this morning?"
That's what he tell me. Like this past hunting season, I said, "Where are you going?" And he was like,
Well-
"Does it matter?" I was like, I mean,
Once y'all came along, it was just whatever boy wanted to go hunting with him, wherever y'all wanted to go. So wherever Philip or Lincoln or Brock or David wanted to go, we just go with y'all.
Alright, so I was thinking about funny things. I think the funniest thing about him for me is when he would get so tickled, laughing so hard that when he pinched his nose and went quiet, that was him almost like falling out laughing. All the funniest stories include him just just pinching between his eyes. Oh, that was hilarious to me.
Like when Grandpa says stuff about Waylon Jennings.
That blew Kyle's mind. I said, "Kyle, tell me a good song Waylon Jennings had." How about Looking Buck, Texas? Yo, I forgot about that. How about don't let you babies grow up to be cowboy? I mean,
Well,
yeah,
that's
I
true.
forgot about that.
Got me there.
Whatever.
We come up here and play paintball. I'd forgotten this till Scott then reminded me.
Oh, yeah.
We come up here and play paintball, and Scott and Chris and a whole bunch of people from church. And Kyle would be playing with us, and Kyle would always say, "I'll stay back and protect the flag." And so, so all of us are sprinting through the woods, and Kyle like runs 3 steps and gets down behind the thing. But so they started calling him the general. They call Kyle the general because he's always in the back, like directing people where to go. They're coming from the left. They're coming from the right. You know? So they called him the general. I'd forgotten all about that.
I too.
Scott and Chris reminded me that's what we called him. He's the general. He was the man in charge, directing traffic.
One day he got so mad. Somebody snuck up on him and popped him. He got so mad he was out of the game. He was just like, and just shot him as he was walking down the game.
Shot the person that shot him.
Because he basically had to walk through the field so he saw where they were hiding. Oh. As we were playing behind the house over
Scott's house. Or,
No.
oh, here.
Yeah. in that pine patch back there.
We should do that sometime. Like,
Absolutely.
did y'all?
That would be
that?
fun, just cousins and
No, we own all the units.
I didn't.
Do y'all still have them? Or?
I have like, how many guns do I have, Phil?
Dad has like 5.
Good grief.
I mean, people, like students would give me them. Like they didn't want them anymore, they just give me their guns.
No.
It was too unsophisticated for them.
No, they were buying way more expensive guns.
Yeah,
They were giving me their
they're
cheap.
moving on
Oh
up,
yeah, yeah.
so.
So we did their cheap ones.
Some of these guns are awesome. And y'all talking about Kyle getting mad that the picture back there, the football picture of Kyle, that's as a coach, I mean, I had the honor to coach him sort of on the sideline, although I didn't coach his position normally. And but that faith game that night. And Mark, you remember that? Were you there that night?
No, sir.
I think
Well, if I
that
was
a
there, I
senior
wasn't on the
and
field.
Kyle was a sophomore.
Okay. Okay, is that what it was?
I think so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yes.
Kyle, they had been double teaming him and all, and he was still making a tackle. And so they triple teamed him. Next play, and one guy hit him, well, 2 of them had stood up, one guy came in and hit him around his knees. And
Which honestly probably injured the other guy.
huh?
I said honestly that probably injured the other guy the way Kyle
Yeah.
was built.
And Kyle threw him off and went and made the tackle or what, but it was, next thing I know, I'm standing on another sideline, and one of my things is you do not trash talk. You don't
You
trash
didn't
talk.
instill that well enough.
And now you don't trash talk to
Phillips got that.
anybody. You do not stoop to their level ever. And they say, you know, Kyle's standing on their face in the face sideline. No. And so, anyway, he said, bring them on, come on.
And he's like, better start blocking me. Oh, fine, and I'll kill you all.
And one of our coach, Massengale, turned around, and I didn't hear this. One of the other guys told me that he said, "Hey y'all, Kyle is alive," or something like that. Kyle can talk.
He can't talk, boys.
He was fired up. Him was fired up that night. That was, it was beauty to watch him play defensive line. And it was.
One of the things Adam Gerbecher said was that when he got mad, he fired up everybody on the team.
Yeah. There was one time we were doing board drills that year, and I was a senior, he was a sophomore, and I was counting the numbers.
On purpose. Sorry, go ahead.
Do what?
I'm getting something. Doesn't have anything to do with you. Go ahead.
behind David?
Well, not David.
Oh, there's three Davids. Yeah, you're
More
right.
specific, but
Three Davids.
yeah, when I
Which
said behind
David?
David, and I thought,
Which David? This one, this one, this one?
There you
I'm sorry, Mark,
go.
I didn't think I would interrupt you, but I did.
We were doing board drills, which is, you know, one-on-one, just straight up, you don't take any angles and, you know, that sort of thing. And I think it was that year Kyle had squatted almost 600 pounds.
Mhm.
And, you know, I was doing baseball and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't able to max out like that, like him. And I was like, and also I had just come off of having mono. So I was really weak. And I was sitting
There's
there
always an
counting.
excuse for failure.
I was managing embarrassment at that point, but I was counting back. Wow, I thought whoever it was behind me in the going in front of me, and he was just like, "That's all, whatever." And then we got over there, and Kyle whipped his tail, and he was like, "Thanks, Mark." I am not going to get beat by my little brother on this day. It was funny, he said also, when we were playing Wilcox for, I think that was the semifinals his senior year, when Brandon scored with like 30 seconds left. And that was a ball game, honestly. And it was cold that night, and Kyle had just like shaved his head bald, and he was done with his Coach Whittle and T. Was T coaching that year?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they decided to do warm-ups in full pads just for the intimidation factor and all that kind of stuff. And Kyle got done. He just took his helmet off and took a knee at midfield and just stared down Wilcox. And I was just sitting there just like, hey. He was like trash talking at midfield.
Yeah, and that was one of my pet peeves, you know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, just give that up. So anyway, because we all did it.
I know.
You did not instill that very well.
He was just kidding you.
Your
Mark.
actions mean more than words.
Do
Your
what?
actions mean more than words.
That's true. We followed the example.
Show
Mark
pants
teaches.
through the talking.
But anyway, I remember Kyle told me this, but he said that Coach Powell was walking out on the field and they had, you know, the lights were behind Kyle and all the steam was coming up through his shoulder pads and off of his head, and Coach Powell just walked in and said, "Just keep staring at him with all that steam coming off of you, because you're gonna scare them off the field the way you look behind Kyle." And so he had somebody take a picture, and he was like, "Kyle, you look just unbelievably scary right now."
I could just see somebody on the other team about my size going, "Coach, I don't think I want to go in." We gotta stay out tonight.
Well, he was hilarious. He was just sitting there silent. He was just like,
That was one awesome game.
He
Woo,
did.
son.
they took it to Wilcox, but Wilcox was good.
But they were really good.
Slammed them to the ground that night.
Brandon, he rounded that corner. He was gone.
With a torn ACL.
Yeah.
Were you looking for that quote from Brenda?
Chance.
Chance.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that first year y'all came up here and did that hunting weekend? It was y'all and Merrill and all these people. Y'all remember that at that old house? That first time y'all did it,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all bought all that nacho cheese from Sam's and all this stuff everywhere. But you don't remember? Well, anyway, y'all did. So
Yeah, I remember that.
we weren't invited that weekend, of course. So, but turkey season came.
Oh man.
And so we went in the house, and there was all this moldy cheese and nasty stuff everywhere. As it was like me and Kyle, I guess Mark was there, and whoever else was there, Turkey and Paul Hicks. I know Paul was there, and we took it all outside, and all of us at the same time shot our guns at those cans of nacho cheese, and cheese just rose up in the air. It was awesome. That was a
It
great
became
time.
an annual spring break thing, by the way. I don't know if you knew this, but when we would come up here turkey hunting, as we all started being on a drive, we would take all the leftover stuff from hunting season out back near the barn and just make a pile of it and kind of do a semicircle and just do like an execution, like just.
If we'd have had Tannerite back then,
That would be a lot of fun.
That
And
would
moldy
be
cheese
awesome.
is pretty close.
That would be
Let's go
nice.
get the expired stuff from the fridge. Right now.
And hey, Brock, that's how Tannerite.
Bingo, yeah.
so that Kyle was all part of that. That was a lot of fun. You, Mark, I don't think you remember this. I think for some reason it was me and Kyle. Maybe that same trip with Paul too. But the creek down here was flooded.
Oh, I was on that trip.
Were you? And so we decided.
Like Vietnam.
Yeah, we decided that we were gonna cross that creek. It's above our waist, on water. So we had to hold our guns over. I was like, I hope Kyle makes it across this creek because he was so young. Again with the 4-wheeler thing, I thought, well, he died on the 4-wheeler float, but he survived that. So I hope he survives this creek crossing. But yeah, we had to hold our guns above our head and cross that creek down there. All of us.
That was that morning we got bored and we were sitting back here. We had all that
Yeah.
pole timber on that side of the
Yeah.
property. And we were sitting back there near where McDonald comes up and hits the back road in the back, or the main road in the back. And we were just cutting up, just doing all these crazy turkey sounds. And some of us had mouth calls, some of us had box calls, all this kind of stuff. And folks with the mouth calls, we were making like monkey noises with the, we
Paul
just
Hicks had
made
that
up-
crow call.
Yeah, and so we were just doing, and the people with the mouth calls would, when we started laughing, it sounded like schizophrenic turkeys in the woods. And so anyway,
Turkeys with rickets.
that's right. And so one of us was like, somebody's walking through the woods, and because we saw something, and it wound up being like this herd of deer walking right at us.
There you go.
We gotta figure out what this is.
But Kyle had to go on some crazy adventures with us when he was too young to make his own choices. We just drug him with us everywhere.
Did y'all find any?
Oh, yeah, there's several. Thad gathered the stuff from Facebook. That's showing him compiled it, which I appreciate you doing that. Anyway, several quotes in here from various people, but
There's a book for every family. I think I did
Okay.
6 or 7 copies.
Did Coach Vic tell that story about Faith?
Yeah, he put it on Facebook.
No, Vic didn't do that. That was Adam.
Adam, okay.
Coach Vic put it on Facebook. It's in that book right there.
There was.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
he did.
Oh,
say-
he did a different one,
He
didn't
had a
he?
different.
I mentioned the one at Faith, and then Adam said that about getting fired up. And Vic told that story about the state championship game.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And Kyle, and that was the thing, especially his first 3 steps were as quick as anybody, which was scary because of how strong he
Right.
was. So I mean, you couldn't block him, but then he actually was fast. I mean, so he he would keep an angle behind the play, and that guy hit the edge and got turned back in, and Kyle just we thought he killed the kid.
What's that story?
Oh yeah.
Kyle was running to get that dude wasn't looking.
You know those. Halloween decorations where it looks like a witch was flying on her broom and it looks like she hit a tree and.
Oh,
yeah.
All right, so keep that in mind. There was one day, and I can't remember if this is my senior year or if when I was coaching, but I was on the field. I remember watching Kyle, and I remember watching Whittle and T and everybody. But we were running a punt return, and Kyle, was on defense, so he was on the punt return team. And so we were running like a wall on this side of the field. So he peels back and sets up the wall, and there's this kid named Preston Soche. He's not very big at all. I guess maybe average-ish size, and Preston goes flying down towards Dustin, and he was thinking, I'm going to take, the great Dustin Ott down, and so he's just keyed in, and he's just flying, and Dustin starts running towards the sideline, and Kyle at this point is still running back to set up the wall, and he sees Preston coming this way, and it just set up perfect. And Preston starts kind of arcing to kind of keep the angle on Dustin, and Kyle keeps coming this way, and right about the time that Preston was about to launch to try to tackle Dustin, Kyle stepped in. And I honestly, I thought we were gonna have to take Preston to the hospital because he went for a run at full speed and he was looking at Dustin this way too. Boom! And his arms and legs just stuck out around Kyle. He went for a run at full speed to just
Whip hit the tree.
and Kyle didn't even budge. He just kept running straight through Preston and then just like threw him off of him and kept running down the field. But I remember Whittle and T and all them were like, watch Kyle. Oh.
Uncle Kyle says he remembers Preston going like, "Whoa, Kyle!"
I didn't know Preston saw him, but man,
Uncle
Kyle,
Kyle remembers him going like, "Whoa, Kyle!" That just kept going.
he just, I thought you were about to kill him.
Brendan Chance said something about not going through the middle of the line.
Mm-hmm.
Brethren was at Betterview.
I didn't remember that he was at Meadowview.
His, I think his senior year, coach, what's his face, started Central Christian up there. Broke off from there. Coach Niblett. Coach Niblett, yeah.
Yeah. Briefly, when I think of Kyle, I think of three things. When Betterview played Mobile Christian in the late 90s, it wasn't even a consideration to run behind center. Just forget that. You don't run behind center. You don't run in the middle. Not many people can hang with me on nerdy details regarding Auburn football. Kyle could and more. I always enjoyed our conversations that probably sounded like a foreign language to some folks. Kyle was a really nice guy. You could tell he had a good nature about him and was raised to be like Jesus. I wish I had had more opportunities to spend time with him.
Kyle had some Auburn football knowledge.
Good for you.
He could tell you every player and their number, couldn't he?
I'm telling you, anytime there was a question, I just text.
I didn't even look at the program.
Uh-huh.
Kyle, he's
I remember that, yeah.
74. Yeah, I told you long ago.
Never mind.
Well, y'all, I sat down the last time we were gonna do this, and everybody was gone. So, I mean, I sat down and wrote 4 pages of memories, so if y'all get ready for that, and it's not about football. It's
Yeah,
not
that's
so-
good. That's okay.
I'll be glad to share that with y'all. And I was gonna add some more this time, but I did not have the opportunity to do that.
Go ahead.
Y'all want me to?
Go for it.
And these may not be in any kind of order, it's just kind of stream of thought here. And sometime I'm gonna read Nathan's letter, but I don't know it yet. Okay. Well, I don't know if I can do this or not. Anyway, he had a beautiful smile. He loved his family deeply all the way from Grand down to his youngest niece. He wanted to always make sure his nephews and niece had special things when they came to our house. He recorded shows and movies and TV shows for them. He could find Dude Perfect before they learned to find it. He always made sure we had popsicles. He loved Christmas. He would always put up the Christmas tree. Someone will have to step up and do that now. He would spend his Christmas and birthday money getting presents, especially for his nephews and niece. He did the vacuuming, the cleaning, of the kitchen. After meals, putting clean dishes away, taking out garbage, including the street on garbage day. He also ironed, went grocery shopping. He would also go out and play football. Like I said, this is just a stream of consciousness here. Go out and play football, golf, basketball. He retrieved the gold that's at our house by the side of the road for the kids. He shot pool with them, played battleship, cards. Since he has not felt well, it was like a week or so in there that he didn't feel well. And he didn't want to leave a mess for me cleaned up. He cleaned it up himself. He loved watching certain shows with us. Price is Right, Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, NCIS, and a variety of other game shows. Parenthood, Breaking Up Together, Good Girls. He was compassionate with animals. Levon, his special dog. Before Levon got too big, Kyle would take him with him in his truck. Kyle was the keeper of the bird feeder at home and in Fort Deposit. He and I alternated feeding the cat. It's not our cat. We loved watching, and we have two more now.
The way it always
is.
starts.
It always begins.
We loved watching the animals in our yard. This week after Kyle passed, the mother and father cardinal came to the feeder together. They hardly ever did that. A turtle who appears in our yard from time to time appeared on the patio by the mattresses from Kyle's bed. The cat has taken up residence on top of the mattresses. We moved the mattresses out because of Kyle being sick. And then we now have two kittens showing up what to do. There were several movies he loved watching frequently. Godfather series, Lonesome Dove, Gangs of New York. He recorded Sergeant York for Dad and American Graffiti for both of us. He put stuff together. He would keep us straight on certain actors, what shows they've been in, kept us informed on all things sports. He stayed informed on all sorts of sports and was able to discuss and text with them, with his brothers and nephews and grandpa. That was one thing Rock mentioned Leonard Skinner a while ago. Kind of liked him, but he also kept up with a lot of things like that. And grandpa would say this later, but Philip, Kyle didn't care about basketball, but he kept up with it, so he could have conversations with you about it. And the golf and all those things. So anyway, just a lot of things that Lexi came to mind as I was thinking about it. I was gonna tell you, there were several things that people said on Facebook. There were a couple that just really were neat because, it showed the family being well. Brandon Knotts is one that has so many memories of Kyle growing up. Very similar in the fact that we were hanging with our closest, when we were hanging with our closest friends, we would goof off and just love life together. However, when the room got crowded, we would sit back and just chill. Jesus commands us to love God with all your heart and love others more than yourself. Very few are able to do this well. Kyle was one. Kyle, can't read this. Y'all have to read it later. Anyway, it was good because that was so true that, when he got in a crowd, he wasn't going to try to come to the forefront of that. But if he was in a small group of his closest friends or family, he was hilarious and would talk a lot. Who's the other one? There was somebody else that talked about it. Like, yep, that was, Brad Stacy. Is Branson here? They loved Lonesome Dove, the movie. That's a quote, some stuff in there.
Lonesome Dove was almost a religious experience at the Stacy house. And it just so happened we loved watching it too. And so they had that in common.
I think Mama likes watching it just as much as we do.
Is that true?
Sarcasm.
Oh, sarcasm.
Sarcasm.
Especially that one scene.
Oh, okay. Anyway, and then Brad, if you don't know, that's why his oldest son's named Gus, is because of the character in Lost in Knoxville.
I think his full name is Augustus,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
Anyway, Brad said that, when you tell it, you said it.
Well, I was trying to find it. I was gonna
Too,
read
I
it.
can't find it.
It's in there.
Okay. That says it's in here, so it's not in
Was Brandon's, was that on Facebook?
Yeah.
Well, Brad, you might have to find it. Or maybe one there's.
Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Kyle was my friend. He was my fishing and hunting buddy. He was a Christian brother and an example for me in a time of my life when I really needed it. He was big and strong, yet humble and meek. He rode shotgun in my 4x4 and I in his. I have never laughed as much or as hard as I did with him. I'll always cherish the times I spent with him. There were so many, from sharing warm biscuits and sweet tea at the barrel to watching Christmas Vacation at the hunting camp. I regret not having more of them. Kyle was the Captain Call to my Augustus McRae. He was my friend.
Anyway, cause in that movie, those of you that are not familiar with it, y'all can tell, but I can. Captain Cole was very quiet and sat back and didn't say much.
Mm.
And Gus was, driving backwards.
I was trying to remember.
Gus is a total goof off.
Yeah.
And he knows everything
Gus was
expert, just
flirtatious.
spouts stuff out,
Yeah.
makes stuff up and sells it. And Captain Call's like,
Yeah, it was all business and it was funny.
And then, but when Captain Call saw rude behavior, he wrote in, and I will not tolerate rude behavior, man. And so that was Brad hit the nail on the
Yeah,
head.
that was perfect. There was one time, Kyle, I think Rex Arundel was taking Kyle, and I don't know, some of y'all to a Skinner concert, and Rachel Farmer was there, and going with him, and she'd go in and change clothes, and she came out, she had her vest or shirt or something on the wrong side out, and Rachel was just, off the wall, and Kyle just sat there and said, Rachel, your shirt's on backwards, or your vest is on backwards. Rachel, your vest is on backwards. Anyway, he sat there and said it probably 5 times before she ever listened to what he was saying and went back and changed her vest. Anyway, that was just always funny to me, and that's the way they were, she was.
Rachel was a Gus
Yeah.
character. Kyle was just Captain Call.
I told Ricky that I own a copy of that movie, but I never have sat down and watched it. I said, I want to do that sometime when Patrice is gone. Then Ricky said, well, it's only about 6 hours. I said, what? I better make sure she's gone.
Yeah.
2 or 3 days.
Oh, now you come up to the hunting camp, we'll watch that rather
All
than
right.
hunting. So we just sit right here and watch
That
it.
sounds good. I told Lyndall that I was hoping that you'd hear from Rachel. I still do, because I know she'd have a.
We haven't heard from her personally, but she put a song or 2 on Facebook, and
Yeah.
She can
She
text
contacted
Monica.
you, Monica? Yeah, she contacted Monica, but she hasn't contacted us.
We had a lot of good times with that college group, with Rachel and Kyle and
Oh my.
Jared and all of them. That was a lot of fun. Monica and me, a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I still can't believe you left Lincoln with them. They went on dates. They'd be like, we'll all come over and keep him, and we were like, well, okay. Surely it'll be okay with 5 of them.
Lincoln was a part of that and didn't even know it.
Yeah. They would come over and watch movies, and we
Play
just all take
video
turns
games.
rocking you and holding you, and
Is
they
there a
never wanted me to
picture?
put you to bed.
Is there a picture of them in here? 'Cause I
Mhm.
saw, I was like,
Yes,
'cause I saw a
Rachel
picture.
That's one of the ones Rachel sent us.
Yeah, Rachel sent that one of her and Kyle. It looked like maybe on the football field
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And then
And the whole group on
the whole group on, and then she sent one that has Brad in it. It's all of us and Rachel. So she must have come to an Auburn game.
yeah, she came with Kyle.
With Kyle to an Auburn game. It's in there, I think.
Yeah, it's
You
Brad,
were in
Brad and Mark and me and you and Kyle and Rachel.
there. Mark, you had your pom-pom back here in your hat.
Is it an Auburn game?
Yeah.
I was acting goofy.
You,
That's
yes.
shocking. I'm sure Kyle and Rachel were in high school. We probably got them in the student section.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that's the student section.
Yeah, in the student section for sure.
Because it was easy back then to do that.
If you wanna, Mom, if you wanna pass those books,
Yeah, I was gonna
or
say.
you can wait if you
If
wanna.
there's one for
If you don't wanna disrupt the story.
Mom.
Did you send that picture to
I sure will.
How many albums are there?
I can't remember. I think I made 6. I don't know why I did 6. I think I just picked a number. I couldn't just. I think I did like
Sorry.
one.
I can't say David.
One of the things I love, and it's just quick and probably insignificant, but I love it, but, with Justin Mosley and with Terry, our two high school best friends, I love how, both of them considered Kyle like a extra little brother that they never had. It just kinda
Thank you.
was pretty defining for me, I think.
Oh, yes, super.
I tried to print as few as possible because I know that this. I just basically stole it from the schools.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one for the paper. Yeah, Terry and Justin both said that. Yeah. Well, one of my favorite memories is me and Kyle and Terry coaching the junior high football team at Liberal Christian. That was a blast. That was a lot of fun. I think we did it for 2 years.
That was pretty good that year, weren't you?
Pretty decent. Kyle get fired up though coaching. That was hilarious. Most of the time he was like quiet, never said a word. Me and Terry and Kyle would be, what do y'all want to do this week? Kyle wouldn't say anything. We'd get out there and practice and he'd get fired up. It's funny.
One of the comments is that I don't think, Nikki's name got added to the bottom of what she said.
Yeah.
And, but that was,
Yes.
the fourth page, there. And, what Nikki said was, it kind of ties in with what we're saying too. Kyle Butts was the type of guy who didn't say very much very often, but when he did, everybody listened because we knew it had depth and wit. We always wished each other happy birthday because we were December babies. Our birthdays were exactly 7 days apart. In high school, he made sure to burn any CD music mix I said I enjoyed. Yes, I'm old enough to have had a slew of burned CDs. We would exchange Jack Handy quotes and sing the song Angie to each other. He gave the best hugs. We would often ride around in his little black truck listening to the radio and laughing back during our years in the youth group. He was a sneaky funny, he was sneaky funny and could get me to snort laugh with his one-liners. When I went off to college, he sent me a 4-page handwritten letter filled with wisdom and friendship. As I got older and busier, we no longer spent time together, and I regret so much that I allowed life to prevent that. But despite the lack of physical proximity, we still kept in touch through social media. We were the Introverts Unite front. Kyle was a special, gentle, kind soul, and I'm better for knowing him.
I would have loved to have read that 4-page handwritten letter.
Yeah. One of my favorite pictures in here is on over toward the back where he's doing a shot put. It killed Kyle that he could put the shot, but Lowndes had a 6'10" giant over there. I don't know if he was 6'10", but he was right at 6'10", seriously. And he in shot put, the longer your arms and the higher the launch point, that makes it, and the taller you are, that makes the launch point higher, and the higher launch points, you get more horizontal distance. And Kyle was stronger than him, but he was short and had shorter arms. And the guy beat him. But Kyle was really, really good in the shot put. If he'd have been 6 inches taller, he would have been a college shot put guy. That's how strong we were. Mark mentioned about him bench pressing 600 pounds. Right? Squat. I meant squat, not bench.
Bench press
I wish you
600
could
would be
bench press
impressive.
600. Anyway, squatting 600. The bar bent. One day he was doing it. The bar was like this while he was doing a squat. I mean, it was loaded.
That's 645 per squat.
Everybody stopped what they were doing in the weight room when he maxed on the squat, and they came to watch.
That's unreal.
His legs were unbelievably strong. He was strong all over his skill. Like I said, if he'd had another foot, he would have.
I was gonna say, if he had another 6 inches, he'd be an SEC defensive lineman.
Right, he really would have.
Another thing we messed y'all up on.
Yeah, sorry
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Hey,
Genetics.
Coach Whittle said, college coaches said, if the two of y'all on the offensive line, if y'all were 6 feet tall, they'd sign you in a heartbeat. They wanted you, but you just wasn't big
That's
enough.
all he said was 5'10". I was like, I'm almost there.
I love Kyle's facial expression on his picture with Papa and his boys riding on the front of that.
Yes, that's a great picture.
That's right, yeah, that's right.
That wind blown
Here,
hair.
the-
Yeah.
That's it.
It's a great picture of Dad too,
Yeah,
Yeah.
smiling.
yeah.
Both of them were very quiet, weren't they?
Yeah, I see.
It's funny, right below that, David, you got Kyle and that awesome football team
Yeah.
smack in the middle of that pep rally, and Kyle's just
I
like,
think
shut
that's
up and
like
get to the game.
Yeah. I hated pep rallies with a purple passion. I know cheerleaders had fun at it, and I'm all for that. They made me nervous, and I don't want to be in here. I said, let me go watch some film. Y'all do your thing, and let me go watch some film. And Kyle felt the same way.
Bronco, I love the picture of you and Kyle with the bass there. It's by Brad Stacy's quote.
Now, we can turn the light on.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Pull that cord up
Cover
there.
everything down there.
Good.
I
Big
can have
hammer
that
cord.
Well, I was gonna do it, but I thought I may not want it on.
No. It's not mood lighting or anything.
He caught,
He
he caught the bass and actually photobombed him.
Oh, is that what happened?
He was, he had the bass and I just walked by and I was like.
Thank you.
I was like, oh, picture, yeah.
And Sissy, I don't know if y'all saw or not, but there's those chairs in front, but over there we got pictures and
We saw
various
it.
things that
Yeah.
cause them. I think Ricky told you about your dad's boots and Kyle's boots being under the table there.
David, I think.
I didn't know if that was Brock or David in that picture.
Oh, yeah, between Pop
Yeah.
and David, that's a picture of him holding you. The day you
Uncle
were
Kyle?
gone. On the age with him doing shot put. And
I've got Cal over there, I think that's the
Oh, yeah.
cap he's got on.
You remember that,
That was the day you were born. I don't think I remember him holding me, because that's 9 years ago.
yeah, you were a wee bit young.
You don't remember the day you were born.
That's strange, huh?
That's
No,
just
but like being, but like as a newborn baby that's worn out about punching my mama's stomach when I was in there.
Same. I was worn out too.
I was,
Okay.
I was
I'm gonna exit this.
just asleep, like, don't care, I'm just gonna sleep. I'm glad I out in the world, not in the stomach.
Link, Phil, any thoughts, stories? Advice Kyle gave you?
Baby, you wanna look today?
That was literature, thank you very much.
You want one, bro?
I just always think about his bear hugs. He gave good hugs. Whenever I saw him.
One of my favorite ones in here was, it's talking about, Shay Powell. There it is, I think. And Shay made the statement before, and somebody's heard this, that her most embarrassing moments in life had been with the Butts boys. One with Mark and one with Kyle.
You better explain that.
Yeah, I'll let you explain it. So.
When she was in homecoming with Kyle's, they were following her home in Crown Bearer. And she and Mark were in Melanie Rex's wedding to get a Crown Bearer, ring bearer, and flower girl. Anyway, so I said that was her most embarrassing. Shay wrote in here that Kyle has been a constant friend to me. I am forever thankful for all of the memories we made together. When we were in Mrs. Karen's K-5 class on cold winter days, Kyle would sit in the top corner of the wooden playset with us girls to keep us warm during recess. For whatever reason, this led us to refer to him as Daddy He-Man. And anytime we called for him, he came. Even at that young age, he was there for us, and we loved him for that. He was our real life teddy bear, much better than any stuffed animal as we grew older. Daddy He-Man became my hero. That's what we always said to each other, and is how we signed our paper notes, senior shirts, etc. Kyle will always be a hero of mine. His personality and kind, gentle spirit made him someone who I respected and admired. He was funny, great at history, loved God, his family, country music, the outdoors, and Auburn football. He will always hold a special place.
Rick, the time that y'all came up and visited, Kyle and y'all swap rooms. And the room that Kyle was in had the TV set up, and it was silent. It was the draft. Next morning, Rick and I and Kyle came out. We walked outside on the porch, and we were looking at the lake. It had been dark the night before the game when we saw Phillips' game. Time we got in and had lunch or dinner that night, and they couldn't see anything. And I said, well, how many boys from Alabama got drafted? Out of the blue, Kyle said, I can't remember the number, it was like 9 or something like that, 9. Well, what place did, he told me that just like up top of his head, I mean, like it was a math quiz or something. He had that right down, and I said, what about that tight end? Oh, he went there. He knew every position that was drafted and where they went. He was amazing. I thought, did you go to sleep last night?
Right.
I don't know what time he went to bed, but they were going through it, and then they'd repeat, they repeat all the different ones and everything. And I said, what about Auburn? And there was a couple of late drafts on Auburn's team, and he knew exactly where what place and where they went. Wow.
You know, that's why we swapped rooms, was because we knew he would watch that.
Yeah, I first thought, I said, well, Kyle wouldn't want to do, not Philip, but Evan. Evan likes those, and I call them silly, but that's just me, the silly computer games. I said, nah, Kyle wouldn't be into that. And it was the draft. I bet he kept the draft on the whole night.
He had like almost like a, and I mean this respectfully, but like a Rain Man type.
I was thinking the same
for
thing, like a
stats
Rain Man
and
type stats.
Sports history
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. Like Brendan said,
He also knew songs and stuff, though. Like, he knew a lot of really interesting things. If you had a question, Kyle had the answer.
Yeah.
Just,
and that was one of the few things he would speak up about is like if you misquoted something or mistold a story, but actually, it's kind of like Oscar on The Office. Well, actually,
Get happy with that.
David, don't worry about any of us. Just
you're good.
eat your apple pie.
if you see something, grab it.
Thank you, Uncle.
Was he offering
I'll
you
make
something
sure
while
to
they're
take-
filled, or was he offering you something while they're open?
He was asking me if it was okay if he ate something.
So,
Phillips is a part.
nephews, I was gonna say grandsons, nephews. I'd be curious, and I guess it's kind of putting on the spot, which isn't good sometimes. Like, what's your favorite or funniest or both memory with him or of him or whatever? That'd be your uncle. That'd be your uncle over here.
Y'all pointing it like.
Is that something?
Who did you ask, Mark?
I was just asking the boys what their
I heard
favorite.
80% of what you said.
Right. Maybe. I was just asking the boys what their favorite memory or funniest memory of both
Yeah.
would be. I was just curious.
They get their talkability from Kyle, don't they?
I meant to Uncle Thad with the good
Sure you
rapper.
did.
I didn't mean to hit you, sorry, Miss Fire.
It's hard to pinpoint like a favorite memory of his because there's so many. But
Maybe it's difficult when you got a lot of good ones.
I did really enjoy going to that Skinner concert with him in Orange Beach. Like I looked over and he was just belting all the songs and I was like, all right.
Yeah, I'm glad he got to go to that.
Yes, sir. And me, Evan, you, and just belt them all.
Right. Where you and I are not
Why don't
shy.
you go?
Our voices, all three were. I know our two voices, and probably his were very hoarse after that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good memory.
This isn't firsthand, but I think it's classic that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that when Lincoln started school down at Mount Dora, both of y'all were teaching at the school, of course, that, well, what to do with Philip. And Kyle went down there and stayed. And that, to me, that's just classic. It's classic. How long was that he
Well,
stayed?
He stayed about a year.
And Philip would have been how old?
Two.
Two.
I had forgotten about this, but that just reminded me. One time, me and Philip and Kyle were home in Florida by ourselves, and I don't know for what reason, but y'all talking about Kyle getting mad. Kyle one time got a little angry and kicked a hole in the bathroom door.
Oh.
And I don't remember what it was, but I remember vowing to never make him angry.
I'll be on my best behavior.
Well, y'all were 2 and 5.
Yeah,
so
there's
yeah.
no telling. It was probably y'all.
We probably did.
Yeah, I had to replace that door because that was a rental house. So. Cost me a few $100s.
Yeah, he told me that. I think he said something about y'all were playing football and Philip hurt him somehow. Maybe that was a separate story. Somehow, like Philip, like really badly hurt
Who
him.
knows? They were 2 and 5. There's no telling. Good possibility.
So it's Julianne's age and.
I think he said
Julianne's
something.
3 now, so.
Diapers. Philip was still in diapers.
Let's see, Kyle would bring. Go ahead. Who was saying something? Kyle would bring Philip. So Kyle's also helping us coach football. And Kyle would watch Philip all day and then bring him over to the school in his truck. And then Philip would have to hang out at practice, or Monica would get him after school if she didn't have anything to do. And then and bring him back home. So anyway, yeah, it was a big help.
There were 2 peas in a pod that year.
Your memories go back that far, Phil? Just checking. Mine don't either. I don't know.
Kind of like, I'll watch him, but he's coming to football practice.
I remember one time, I think it was Barbara, asked Philip something about what they did all day. He said, well, we go to Walmart, we kind of don't got no money.
I forgot about that.
So I guess y'all just went and walked around.
Yes, we walked around. Yeah, think about that. How old would Kyle have been if that was in 2005? So
Not sure. Doesn't say.
that's when you were born. I was thinking, yeah, 2007. So anyway,
27.
I was thinking it just
We're 26 when we moved there with us.
up and left and moved with us. We didn't know what we were doing. We just knew we didn't have a place for Philip.
And so
he's
y'all
like, "I'll
approached
go."
him with the
Yeah, I
idea?
think, did we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
We were like, how about this radical idea?
yeah, and he was like, yeah, okay. And he did. I mean,
He took it down.
he did.
It's amazing how family can. I
Yeah.
called my mom. She moved from North Alabama. Less than 2 weeks, she came down and started taking care of a 4-year-old and a 4-month-old girl. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Family can just do it at the blink of the eye.
Mhm.
I was talking to Charlotte on the way yesterday, we were going to Lake Martin, and I said, you know, I have such great memories down in Central Florida, being from Leesburg, or not, I was actually from Tallahassee, but we moved down there when I was 12. And I loved to ski, and I skied on Lake Harris, and and Hugh and Lake Eustis, and we'd go through Dora Canal, and then I'd go over there, and there was a lake called Lake Beauclair, and I said it's the closest to heaven this old country boy could ever get, because it was this crystal clear water and had these palm trees, and this one house went straight up, and it was a big old house, and it was palm trees up in it, and it was just gorgeous, and then Charlotte says, y'all were coaching and teaching up at an outdoor the Bible school or the Christian school there. And I thought that was so neat. Y'all might have even been to that lake or in those areas.
We have. Yep.
I think it's cool, like, as we were, I'd come back up here, and we found that he put his boots right next to Pop's. And same confession.
That's where they was, we just left them there.
That's it.
We brought Daddy's boots from the house over there, and we left them where they were until we got this set, and we brought the boots over here.
About 25 years they stayed right where they were.
Yeah. Well, that's 22 years. 22 years they stayed where they were. It was weird, man.
Yeah. Wasn't it Chance's crew that
Yeah.
got freaked out by
Yeah.
Pop's boots being in there?
I told Chance that last night, we didn't want to go in the house. We were scared.
How was that? How was that?
Why? Just, well, he says, got a dead man's boots in there. Oh, I ain't gonna, that's weird.
We left them right where they were last time.
Where
Take
Pop
the
took them
boots.
off.
Take the boots and take them to Mobile, see if we can get some action.
I got a piece of
That's a good idea.
One
Put them in
time,
Granny's
stand
house.
closer to your
That's
waist.
right.
It's two boots. Freddie carries one, you carry the other one, and I'll be talking to him, and y'all just come in,
Just slowly.
feel the force field.
Put
I
them
got
on
a
his
piece of
porch.
paper I've gotta give you.
Put them on his porch.
Forever smart.
Yeah, just tell him to say,
He'll
like
walk
if he
out and they'll
says
be
something,
right
say,
there.
"Ooh,
I think I need to call Ricky
Pop
today.
just wants you to sign that contract."
Hey, put 'em- just set them there like you, somebody standing there, and then go back the next night and move one of them.
Say, Marcus, see,
You better hurry.
so we know.
Oh,
Keep coming back.
Or has storage, they have the bud.
Yeah, hey,
He showed up in Mark's room one night.
So he's somewhere in this Theodore area. You better.
Mom, do you want to read Nathan's letter? You want to be able to read it?
Out loud? Yeah, I think I can. I just read it for the first time a few minutes ago. Okay, this
By the
is,
way, that's what I was gonna say. I might want to get a background on.
yeah, you wanna do that? Oh, so, okay.
For 20-something years, we've been coming up here the last weekend of hunting season. And the first time, when Monica was, you were pregnant, right? No, or was it just Casey pregnant? Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Casey was pregnant first. so-
Anyway, Nathan and Casey.
We were both.
which time?
Nathan,
Never
yeah.
mind.
Nathan is Monica's first cousin. He lives in Arkansas. They came down to see us in Mobile. And Casey was staying. Nathan and Casey were staying with us, and Nathan and I were gonna come up here and go hunting. Anyway, he had no idea where this place was. He thought it was in Mobile, so he didn't know. Anyway, that started it. Then after that, for about 20 years, we've been coming up here the last weekend of hunting season and just hanging out. And so Nathan, for like I said, 20 years, has become essentially part of our family on that last weekend. So anyway, he's a once a year guy, and he comes down every year and buys steaks and pork chops or whatever else he
Grill?
bought us a grill. That grill
Yeah.
was Nathan bought it for us.
This is Nathan Lincoln.
Nathan
Right.
Lincoln, yeah. So anyway, he wanted to be here today desperately, but couldn't. So he sent a picture of himself wearing an Auburn shirt, which he said for us to burn after we got done with the ceremony. The
It's
picture,
on
not the
tape,
shirt.
yes, the shirt.
He said burn the shirt. I have a picture. I mean, keep the shirt. But I didn't. We're gonna frame that picture and put it on. We're gonna take one of Charlie and him and put it side by side and frame it on the wall. But he once he found out we were doing it, he was very upset he couldn't come, like literally upset. So he overnighted a package from Arkansas to our house, which included that shirt, that picture, and this letter.
It says to Kyle, I long to be there celebrating the life of Kyle with y'all. It hurts me not to be there. Hope this letter captures my feelings. To Kyle and the Butts family, I love Kyle. I am so thankful to have been and continue to be included in the last weekend of deer season, deer hunt. For so many years, and hopefully many more, I love all of you, but I have a special place in my heart for Kyle. Always will. He and I always had a good time at the deer camp. I'll never forget all the years we spent at Pop's place, that was over at the old house. From the PVC shower head to the leaning floor of the kitchen, nobody cared how run down and dirty it was, just as long as we had a bed to sleep in. Kyle and I had a lot in common, mainly music. We loved listening to music together. He was always texting me songs. Neither of us were that dedicated to hunting. Both of us enjoyed two things way more than deer hunting: food and fellowship. I'd be surprised if I added up all the hours spent deer hunting on the last 5 years or so. If on a 5-hunt day, he and I averaged more than 14 hours of actual hunting. 5-day hunt, excuse me. He and I averaged more than 14 hours of actual hunting. But the hours spent with Kyle were a lot, from watching movies to playing Tiger Woods golf, listening to music, and going to the gas station for Royal Peanuts. He and I would come up with any excuse not to deer hunt and just hang out together. Some outsiders might say, how could someone, that being me, have such a good relationship with another person, that being Kyle, that they only saw once, maybe twice a year? I'll tell you how, we just did. We just got along. We just enjoyed one another. We understood each other. We also, you have to know about this, we also loved Robert Duvall. Anything with him in it, ha ha ha. Nathan hates Robert Duvall. Duvall. Our guys all like him. Anyway, we enjoyed
Plus the
watching
same character in the movie.
Constant text messages there. But anyway.
We enjoyed watching Lonesome Dove and Apocalypse Now every year, or The Godfather. But seriously, that disagreement about Robert Duvall was cordial and considerate. It was what made us have such a good friendship. That and my hatred for Auburn. Ha ha. When Dad called and told me the news, I sobbed, not cried, sobbed. I've not cried or sobbed like that in a very long time. I'm mourned. I still am as I write this. I know that y'all have designed this day to be a celebration, and the way that Thad and Mr. Ricky have described it, I can think of no better way to honor Kyle. This is what he would want. Oh, to laugh with him one more time. To listen to one more song, to eat one more bag of boiled peanuts, which I will one day in heaven. I know that he's eating boiled peanuts with Jesus as we speak. Thank you for including me in Kyle's life and his memorial. Thank you also for including me in the celebration of my brother, the brother that always texted or called my birthday. I love all of you. P.S. I'm including 2 things in this package. One is an Auburn shirt, a shirt I reluctantly spent my hard-earned money on buying in Alabama when the first celebration was scheduled. A shirt that I reluctantly bought, but would and proudly wear to Kyle. To the rest of you, I will not wear an Auburn shirt ever again. The second thing is a picture of me wearing the shirt in Kyle's honor. If you'd like, do something with the shirt in Kyle's honor. Please throw the picture away. Just kidding. Do with it what you want. Do not show it to Aunt Barbara. Not kidding. I'm with y'all in spirit and haven't stopped praying for peace for all of you. Love you. Thanks.
Also, when he said hard-earned money, that was also sarcasm. Because we all rag him, but he does not work anymore. He just owns the business and lets everybody else work. He doesn't work anymore.
He's
Just
got
collects paychecks.
several businesses, doesn't he?
5 businesses.
What age
The
is
fact he
Nathan?
said it's been 20 years.
You're old.
Nathan is 42.
He's a couple years younger than me, a year and a half younger than me.
Cause he and Crystal are the same. How old are you, Mark? He and Crystal are the same.
And Nathan was going to Harding, and his business got in the way of him going to college, so, because he was making so much money in the business and all, and had so much work, he just quit going to college, and wound up buying up all the lawn maintenance contracts in Searcy. And then he bought the equipment supply place, and then he bought a dirt pit, and then he bought a nursery, and also,
And they're going into used car.
Oh, no,
Really?
oh,
Oh my
no.
goodness.
They're Jeffrey.
I told him last time we were here, you better back off a notch or two.
Buy a double wide
Just trying to get out. You get in financial trouble with too much work quicker than you can with not enough work.
And we've got, how many kids?
Six.
No, 6 or 8.
Back off a notch or two in other ways too. Yeah.
Oh,
He was like, oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Juju. You got an ice cream.
Right over here. Not right this way.
Were you with me for the time we were at church, over at church up here? Some guy comes walking in along here in scrubby clothes.
Mhm.
Who's this guy? He sits down next to me. Hey, Troy. I didn't recognize him. I thought, oh, man, who is this guy coming in
Yeah,
here?
I was there.
What? You were with him, weren't you?
Yeah.
I didn't see you.
Homeless.